Thank you, all those that have stuck around. This is the House Insurance Subcommittee on Life and Health. We have a couple of bills, and we will start with House Bill 1005, and that's Representative Lim, if you will come up to the microphone.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and to the committee who are here, small but mighty. I am presenting House Bill 1005, that's LC 460735. This bill would simply ensure that the life-saving treatment series that is required after exposure to rabies is covered by state-regulated health benefit policies. You may know that rabies is a deadly virus that is fatal in humans once symptoms develop, which comes after exposure to infected animals, bats, pigs, raccoons, feral cats, coyotes, skunks, dogs. If you've seen Old Yeller or Cujo, you know that. However, even after exposure to a potentially infected animal, rabies is entirely preventable if one receives the post-exposure prophylaxis series. So for people who haven't been previously vaccinated for rabies, which is most people exposed, that treatment consists of an administration of rabies antibodies or immunoglobulin and a series of 4 shots over the course of 2 weeks, the day of exposure, day 3, 7, and 14. Ultimately, there are few cases of humans developing rabies in the U.S., thankfully, about 1 to 3 each year, but that is attributable in significant part to the fact that about 60,000 Americans received this treatment series every year because exposure to animals who are potentially rabid is not so uncommon. The challenge and the reason for this bill comes in the fact that many of these Americans and Georgians will have to pay a good deal for this treatment, Without insurance, the cost goes to upwards of $10,000, if not more. This is not only because this treatment is extensive, I went over the 5 things you basically have to get, but also because the prophylaxis is almost universally available only in emergency room settings. And you can imagine then that the treatment there is going to be usually more expensive than a non-emergency room setting. So not surprisingly, even with insurance, depending on the coverage you have, the treatment will cost a very pretty penny. Thankfully, our state health benefits plan, as well as Medicaid and Peach Care, do already cover this treatment series. So in that sense, there is no fiscal cost to the state. What this particular bill does is to ensure that other state-regulated health benefits policies at least provide some coverage for this treatment in order to provide some financial relief for people who have these policies but are exposed to rabies, because to be clear, not all insurance or health benefit policies do cover this treatment. To conclude, again, fatal human rabies is thankfully rare, but the potential exposure isn't so rare, whether you're in rural or urban areas. I'll say this was inspired partially by a constituent who was exposed and had to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. And again, without this treatment, rabies would be fatal. So I'd ask this committee consider providing, again, some financial relief to those who will inevitably need to get this treatment every year. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I appreciate this. I was unaware that insurance plans didn't cover it. I do have a couple questions about it. I'm trying to see how, when you listed on, I guess, line 16, shall not include the following. Those all, I understand why those would be excluded. And I have a concern where we have a PPO, and HMO. These could also be ERISA plans, and you have no exclusion for ERISA. I think that needs to be in there because you have ERISA plans that do subscribe to PPOs or HMOs, and we can't govern them. So it might be as simple as the Legislative Council putting in a line to exclude ERISA plans. Not that they don't cover it, and they should, and I would say they probably do. I don't know of a group plan that wouldn't cover it, but I think for clarity, that probably needs to be in there. And this is a hearing only, so we have time to get it in. Are there any other questions? Does anybody have any comments? Thank you. I appreciate you bringing the bill.
Thank you, Chairwoman.
Okay. Our Oh, yes, sir. Did you have a question?
No, Madam Chair, I apologize. I remember I sit on this subcommittee, so I can present here or up there, whatever your pleasure.
Wherever you would like to. If you're comfortable, you do it right there, honey.
You know what, Madam Chair, I love these chairs, especially compared to judiciary. So I'll.
Yeah, the seats are very hot in judiciary.
They are. So thank you very much, Madam Chair, for your patience. I bring to you House Bill 1336. And just for a little short summary for members of the committee, this bill modifies OCGA 33-24-14.1, added in the 2022 legislative session by Representative Noel Williams through House Bill 1308. This bill that I'm bringing to you switches the default communications between a plan and a member from paper documentation to electronic, but only when these following points are met. The covered person is given an opportunity to opt out of electronic communications. The remaining conditions under subparagraphs A2B through A2E of Code Section 33-24-14 must be satisfied. And just to walk you through those conditions, the insurer makes policy accessible as long as the policy is in force. After the expiration of the policy, the insurer archives its expired policies for a period of 5 years and makes them available upon request. And the insurer provides the following information in or simultaneously with each declarations page provided at the time of issuance of the initial policy and any renewals of that policy, which includes a description of the exact policy and endorsement forms purchased by the insured, a method by which the insured may obtain upon request without charge a paper copy of such insured's policy, and the internet address where the insured's policy and endorsement are posted. And E, the insurer provides notice in the manner in which the insurer customarily communicates with the insured of any changes to the forms or endorsements, the insured's right to obtain, upon request and without charge, a paper copy of such forms or endorsements, and the internet address where such forms or endorsements are posted. Just so you know what current law in Georgia is, it's that a member must affirmatively opt in for electronic communications and will receive paper by default. I kind of liken this to when I signed back up for the Wall Street Journal and some of my local newspapers. I had to opt in for the paper option as well. So that's just a kind of rudimentary comparison there.
Does anyone have a question? One of mine was, can an individual opt in or out? Or would the plan administrator be saying everybody has to get it? It looks like you can have an individual opt in and out. And
Yes,
that was my concern, and I see that is covered. Yes, you do have a question. Please go ahead.
So you gave a great example a minute ago about your local newspaper, and you're saying in your newspaper you had to opt in to get the paper version?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right. So in regards to this, it would operate the same way?
Basically, that's my understanding. Just a rudimentary understanding, but I think it basically operates in that same fashion.
Gotcha. And since we did this in 2022, I mean, I haven't heard any complaints from anyone. I think it's gone relatively, it was a matter of the times as things have gone digital. More people are accustomed to getting things electronically. So.
Right. Those that are concerned about the Russian space laser out there, that's a thing apparently, they can still opt into the paper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand this is a good bill. I don't see any other questions, and this is just a hearing only, and you'll be hearing from the chairman. Does anyone have any comments? We are adjourned. Thank you.